All right, and we're back. So it's been a month since we returned from Egypt, and we wanted to make sure the video was complete. It shut off in day 13, and we didn't have a chance to do 14/15, so we're going to do all of that now.
So we're here.
We're here. So...
Day 13?
Day 13. Was it 13? Yeah, it was 13.
13.
So day 13 was... So we finished talking about Nubia, I believe. I hope so.
Yes.
We finished talking about Nubia. So that evening, we had the... well, we hung out at the hotel for a while, too.
Yes, we went swimming.
Yeah.
That was nice.
We chilled out.
Yeah.
And so we had the Galabia party that night, that evening. Mm-hmm. Everyone looked great.
Amazing. Just wrinkled, but amazing.
It was really long because everyone had a chance to speak for a second.
Yes.
You know what happens when people stand up on stage and has everyone's attention?
They take advantage.
Yeah. So.
People that went first, like myself, that were on the spot, it was real quick. We were like, what? We're going to speak.
Yeah, because it went in order of names.
And we weren't ready for that. But we got a certificate. Do you have your certificate?
I do. I have it, right? I have it.
Okay. It's very nice, though. I appreciate that they took the time to do that.
Yes. And so then we finally got to eat. I was so hungry. I jumped in line first. I have a habit of doing that. I don't like to wait. And I also don't like to get to my food after everybody else got to my food. So,
but I think I was so hungry I didn't enjoy the meal.
I was so hungry. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
And so tired.
Oh man.
As soon as I finished eating, I was like, I'm out.
She had the itis.
I was sleepy before I got there. And we were over there counting down.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we in the tees. We in the tees. You know,
it was like graduation.
Yep. That's exactly what it felt like. Because it was 100 and something of us.
Yeah. 106. Was it 106?
I've noticed through the videos, we've been off the whole time. I don't know how many people.
105.
100 and change.
Yes.
And then people started performing. They had music. Cause, it's a party. Yeah. I was like, look, I got to go. I can't stay today.
They danced a little bit. We had some few little line dances and whatnot.
And it's probably it started we were supposed to be there at 6. It started in the evening.
Yeah, I think at 6. It was supposed to be 6 prompt.
I think we were done about 9, 10. I feel like we were done about 10 something.
10 something.
And so it was still kind of going on. Mm-hmm. But we had to have our luggage out by midnight.
And you know how that works.
I was like, look, I got to take a nap or something. And that always throws me off getting the luggage ready. Because that means...
I don't know why that night
it's because
always
you have
like
to
that.
have you sleep, whatever you sleep in, you have to make sure you know what you're putting on in the morning. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure, do you have your toiletries? Because you're going to need something in the morning.
Yeah.
And what's your carry-on luggage for when you you just have to really think ahead. And
we traveled a lot. You don't think about traveling like that when you're already traveling.
Right, because all we were doing was getting up to go to Cairo.
It seems so simple. What are we doing?
And so we put our things out at midnight. Yeah, we barely made breakfast. I do remember that.
It was 4.
We were so lucky to get to eat because we had to, we were still on the island. Mm-hmm. So we had to take the boat over to the buses so we could take the buses to the airport so that we could fly.
And as you're telling
Cairo.
this, I'm just reliving it all. So that's why this big old smile, oh my gosh, yes. But no, it was nice. But like I say, those travel mornings.
I saw the sunrise on the button on the boat.
On the boat.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we had a small boat to take us.
Yeah, so this ain't one like a ferry or something.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's a ferry.
Take you from the island to the mainland.
Nice little seated area, like a living room space kind of.
I was half asleep.
Yeah, but it was nice.
Looking forward to sleeping on the bus.
It was sad because I knew our time was ending. I don't know. Even though it was so long, 15 days is intense to travel. However, at the end of it, it's we're about to leave, so you're not just ready just yet. I mean, you are, but you're not. So
I was ready to get to the new hotel. So we finally got to the new hotel. It was the nicest looking hotel we stayed in because it was an airport hotel.
Exactly.
So a lot of international people who fly international are there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it caters to an international crowd. So
there was no bidet. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, it wasn't.
No, they didn't have one. Bidets.
Yeah. Well, I ate the lunch there, a buffet, and then I went to the market. She went on her separate ways and got a few things. And that evening, I think I stayed out at dinner talking for like ever because it was the last night, period. Yeah. And we were getting up early to go on a long flight.
I'm like in this daze, still like, wow.
So we realized that morning, I think we ate really quick, we still got back in the buses again.
And it was real quick. It was like, get your food and go. And I have to say, like, the breakfast there wasn't as appetizing as the other restaurant. Or
that was what was
hotels.
weird about it.
Yeah.
The food there wasn't as good as the other places.
So even dinner?
The place was nicer. To be honest, dinner sucked. But lunch was good, but lunch wasn't included. Remember, I paid separate for lunch.
Okay, that's right.
So our planned dinner wasn't as good as the lunch was. And I figured it was going to be the same exact food, but I was hungry, so I didn't care.
You know what was interesting? So she went to the market. I ended up going to Hard Rock Cafe. Why the Hard Rock doesn't have a liquor license? I was like, what? And
yeah, that's
so everyone that kept coming in, they had to keep, reiterating, okay, so we don't have a liquor license.
So what was up with that?
Yet.
Were they going to get one later?
Yeah, they were getting one.
Did they not think to
wait until, I don't know. And they had everything up, like the liquor out and everything. So you're excited.
So you're looking at the liquor, but you can't get the liquor.
But we can't get it. So all of our drinks were virgins. The guys were like, what are we doing?
Disappointing. Yeah, they could have just hit it or something.
Yeah.
So it's not even in your mind.
It was all there on the menus,
Well, so the flight out. So we get up and say I goodbye. To me, that's when it was really real because it was like so many long hugs.
Yeah.
And then we have to remember the people who weren't flying back with us because they weren't from the States.
Yeah.
So that was longer hugs.
Country.
And even like the Quasies, they weren't flying back with us.
No, and that was bittersweet. It was like, I marry you.
Marry means love. We didn't say that before.
Yes.
But I think one of the things that was so funny to me was, so we're getting ready to leave. We're still in our same buses that we've been in. So we were assigned Haru. And like I think we said before that we had a different guide on each bus. And they would alternate every day. So you have time with each guide. And it's a different experience, of course.
It really
with a different guide each time. And so our last one, we had Asher on it. And we're not going that far, right? This is the airport. We're going down the street to the airport. And even while we're in the bus, he's still lecturing us.
Still. I mean.
And you'll see over here, brothers and sisters, you see, they built this in this year. And you see this is
you
the
see the passion. I mean, when I tell you.
Which one you think was here first?
Yeah. I love them for that because, that's a real teacher. That is so a real educator. Non-stop.
It's over.
Lecture. It's over. We paid. We've gotten everything that.
I appreciated it though.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought that was so fun. It was just funny to me. I was like, he's always in go mode. Always.
Yeah, master teacher.
Always teaching. I don't even think you can have a regular conversation.
No.
With him without him dropping some knowledge.
You cannot. He is going to, deliver. And the blessing of it all is, even with that, like how he even summed it up, and what are you going to do as you go back?
I was like, what are you going to do with this information?
All right,
I was like, you had to be there.
Yeah.
It was a full-on lecture, from the time the door closed. Mm-hmm. We had to look at this, look at that, and think about when you saw this.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this? Now, what are you going to do with this? And it's like, really?
Yeah, like, oh dang, yeah, you're right. Like we did.
I thought I was just going home, but
exactly.
Make sure I'm still paying attention.
Like, okay, we've gleaned all of this, and what are you going to do with this information?
It was exciting. I think it really kind of sealed the whole deal.
It did.
It was like, we did that, and this is a great send off. Like, we're really still getting this information, and he's right. What do we do now? So I noticed after we left, I felt a little sick.
Oh my goodness, a little.
And so the group, they made a Facebook page right before we left. And it's funny because we realized somebody posted in there.
Everybody.
It was like, was it just us? It was a husband and wife. And I was like, no, I was sick, but I thought it was just me.
And it was interesting because it was like, people were like, look, I didn't eat any of this. But I really think it was just our bodies readjusting. You know,
I don't know. I thought
back.
It was that last hotel.
I don't know. I can't say it.
I thought it was that coffee he tried to
anything.
give us. That's what I thought it was at first. We didn't really drink it, but I was like, it was too thick anyway.
It was.
And I don't normally drink coffee like that. So I was like, I didn't really drink it because I was like, I know this will kill me. You know, if I drink this. So I was like, I'm just not going to drink it.
I don't know if it was that hotel though, because I didn't eat too much there. Like you did have
That's
dinner.
True. Yeah,
but I didn't have
I had lunch and dinner there. I had lunch, dinner, and breakfast there.
So I just really feel like it was our body readjusting.
That's true. That does happen when you travel internationally. But I must say I didn't feel any of that when I came back from Ghana. And speaking of which, that jet lag,
man,
was the worst I've ever felt in my whole entire life.
It's only because we never recovered. I don't know how most people did.
I don't know.
I went straight to work. You know, it seemed like.
Well, we came back on Saturday night, and so I was like, well, we have all day Sunday, right? That's what I was thinking. Because I do this all the time. It's nothing, I mean, I ain't going to say it's nothing for me, but I will go on a trip. I've done turnaround trips where I just go that morning, come back that evening.
I've even flown in and gone straight to work like a crazy person, like from Vegas.
Yeah, I've done that before too. I've done that before too. You come in the morning and you go straight to work afterwards.
You know.
And so that's why I wasn't expecting this massive. I knew I may be sluggish a little bit, and it's funny because I knew my body was still on Egypt time because I was great in the morning because I go to work at 6:30 in the morning.
So you were up?
Yeah, I was up. I was ready to go, and I get off at like 3:30, and by the time I get home, I'm like, yeah. And so every day for like a whole week, as soon as I got home, I went to sleep.
Yeah,
I would only get up to drop my kids off, and I go back to sleep. And I get up to pick them up, and I go back to sleep.
Yeah, and then I go to work. Some of our even, I guess other patrons, our family, our African, our Holy Royal,
the Holy Royal family,
the Holy Royal family. Some of them had even made comments of, like if they spent 30 minutes, you know, sitting still, they were taking a nap. Like you were easily gone in a second. Yes. So you had to watch that. Like I'd be trying to do something, be like, hold on, no, I got to keep moving. I got things to do. So yeah,
I've never in my life felt jet lag.
But you have to think about it. And I was really impressed with some of our older family members because it was quite taxing on your body. And you have to think about the time frame that we were waking up in the morning. You have to think about the long hours, the walking.
I thought about that. I mean,
the heat, 115
I knew I was going to be hot. Yeah, I knew I was going to be sweating.
It was just a lot. So
I don't
think
wear
on
hats
the body,
or anything.
Oh, and me, I don't even like wearing shades. I'm thinking, what
me either. I don't like anything on me. So I'm just sitting there burning up. Yeah. Ain't like it's shade.
Y'all like that tan?
Right.
It's still there. It's not going
Look, it took me about 3-4 days. Oh, I guess I do have a tan, huh? I didn't even notice. Mm-hmm. What else do you expect in summertime?
Yeah.
In Egypt. So.
It was incredible, though. Like, I have to go again. So, I'll ask, what are you doing differently now? Because you were already, well into your community and...
I don't know. So, it's been a month, and I thought after a month we'd have processed everything. I think my body is processed. I'm back to normal with that. Yeah. But the information... it's still a lot. So even with me going through the videos, I'm realizing I still haven't typed my lecture notes yet. Yeah. I haven't listened to my lecture notes yet.
Me neither.
So there's still a lot more to do. But being in a group, like people share so much good information. So I've been trying to capture that. And even like there's little bitty questions I had, like things that could be answered quickly that I wasn't gonna bombard the teacher with because it's stuff I could go Google, like what day did this happen? How did they pull this out the sand? Where was it before? Like it's not really. I don't need to bother him with that. I need to get more intellectual questions from him. So just stuff like that, I've noticed that I'll pick up here and there, but it's trying to, for me, getting that global understanding, that 360, bringing it back around because it impacts us today, and paying attention to how it impacts us, and then how are we going to share this information, which is why we're doing the video. Yes. Because it's like, I got probably, and I've been guessing, I don't know how many pictures I got, but I know I got at least 1,000. Probably.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus.
More than that.
Were especially the photographers, because y'all were serious about. I hadn't seen so many Nikons over there. Look, but I think for me, it's been more. Well, once again, it's going to be a spiritual pilgrimage for me. So I think for me, it has been kind of reflecting, I've done a lot of journaling and kind of just going back to, okay, I remember someone asking me, because I told them I was going to pray for them about something. I don't recall what it was, but I told someone on the trip, I'll be praying for you. And he was like, but who will you be praying to? I was like,
right.
But it's
so to
true.
Think about
You
always say that.
Exactly.
And you're like, all this new information.
Exactly. And so that has been, that's a work in progress for me. I will say what's interesting is I have definitely added to my ancestors, because before I didn't speak of them.
That's good.
As far as, in my prayers. And so now I am calling out. And it's funny, like when I'm having really low, I'm like, okay, I'm calling them all out. I said, y'all are truly living again,
Right. To speak someone's name.
Exactly.
Makes them live again.
So I think with that, I feel like a sense of power with that, so it's been interesting. It's definitely going to be a journey. It's ongoing. It is
a journey. So I know some people think you just go and you capture and you see it and that's it. But it's really, and I think he mentioned this, it's the beginning of your journey.
Yes. And you get impatient with yourself, because I got some books and I'm like, oh, and I'm going to get, it's like, okay, slow down. And remember, you teach.
Right. And so something that I think he mentioned it. I think I've said this before while we were out there. But something you have to keep reminding yourself when you're researching is this stuff happened that we looked at over a span of like 2,000 years. Mm-hmm. So to think that you can grasp 2,000 years in like this much time it's unrealistic.
Yeah, it's impossible.
And that's why some of it seems contradictory. Some of it, it just seems like it's too much information, because it is. That's a lot of generations. That's a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And so you can't really just grasp that in 15 days, even though it's a long time. You can't really grasp that in 15 days. So, so it's the beginning of the journey.
Definitely the beginning. And definitely enjoying it. And hopefully we're going to go back.
One day we're going to go back. We're going to be so equipped when we go back. And we'll be physically ready.
Definitely physically ready.
Make sure we get some sleep and maybe take a week off after. Okay, I can't do that, but something.
Yeah.
So in closing.
We just get to the point.
So in closing. The trip was phenomenal.
Fun.
There is incomparable, I believe, we tried to do as best the job as we could and enjoy ourselves and soak the information in and meet people and be a part. But we also wanted to try to document the information for people who weren't there because it's hard to share. We've been trying to do it immediately after, so you can kind of get a real sense right then.
Just all that we were feeling and just the experience, but truly,
you have to be there.
To come.
You have to be there.
You have to experience this
because these things are huge. He made an example one time of how big, and it was almost unbelievable how big the pyramid was. Mm-hmm. He said it was the size of something that it sounded unbelievable. I think it was a couple city blocks. It was a number of city blocks, he said.
Yes,
and I was like, what?
Number. Yes.
But it's hard to see. It's hard to fathom when you're there because it's so big. And the example I make of that is like when you're in Vegas, because the hotels are so huge, you always feel like when you're walking down the street, oh, it's just right there.
Yeah.
And you realize
it's a walk.
Yeah, it's an extremely long walk. And that's kind of what it's like, because if you're standing at a pyramid, there's nothing here but these.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to compare it to other than human bodies, which we see we're way down here. But
and these are massive.
So it's hard to capture that in the video and in the pictures, and so you really have to see it.
Capturing the experience, the essence of it all, feeling, breathing, standing, by a pyramid or, standing by some of these temples and just being on the Nile. Like, we can talk about it, but there's no way that we could truly capture, the totality of it all.
Yeah.
So, I'm not just going to tell you to go to Egypt. To me, that'd be a disservice. It really would be, because I saw people there that were there. And I'm saying,
they weren't getting it.
And so you have to go, and this is not, commercial or,
It's powerful.
It is. You
being
have
there
to
with
go
those
with
people,
them.
learning and being enlightened. And getting your story at the same time, because everyone else is telling you something that you saw in the book. Like, if you listen to a normal, the average Egyptologist, you're not getting this information. You would never know. Like, I put in one of the kids' books, reading this, I would never know any of these people were black.
Yeah. No, and when you are able to see your image, when I tell you that's so powerful, and I'm speaking from, and I love this about us because we're coming from two different walks of life, so I'm speaking from, first generation, African American, and, knowing the roots as far as Ghana, that's beautiful, and I'm, I feel privileged in the sense to know that, but this was remarkable, because even as Africans, we've lost so much, and our stories have been fabricated. Massive. Yes.
It's so big, you can't even, quantify it. It's just like...
Yeah.
It's everything about you is lost.
Stories that I've heard in the past, I'm thinking, oh, this is where it's rooted. This is where it's come from.
Right, and to see it, you've heard some of these things before. Like, you heard people say it. It does not hit you until you're standing there looking at it. And you're like,
yeah,
whoa.
I got goosebumps just see when you said that. So Kemet knew. Kemet.
Standing inside those temples, and you're like, there is not 1 inch without words on it. What are they telling me?
And they were trying to say something. They were speaking something. They were
on
sharing something. Those messages were so real.
In the window.
And we study our Bibles.
On the ceiling.
But how can we study that and you haven't studied this? Like, we're missing it. We're definitely missing pieces, and these are the pieces that we're missing. These are the true scriptures. This is what you need to go and find.
Yeah,
right?
So it was a sacrifice for us to go.
Let me tell you.
It was a sacrifice. We made the decision. I'm so happy that we stuck with it.
Oh my goodness. I'm indebted to you.
A lot happened between we went. But the fact that we made the sacrifice, and that's what we have to tell people, because they're like, oh, y'all went to Egypt. It's like, you don't understand.
Yeah, what it took to get there.
Not that we have to explain all that, but the reason why I say that is because it's a sacrifice, and we know it's a sacrifice, and you have to make that sacrifice.
So we're not telling you to do anything
that we
haven't done ourselves, So we share
a huge sacrifice.
Huge sacrifice. But when I tell you,
you gain so much, it's worth more than the money. And yes, somebody who works all day hard and grind for every cent, I can say that it's worth more than the money. So definitely. You have to go. You have to go experience it. You have to go get those pyramid legs. And you have to go.
You'll know what pyramid legs are when you finish.
They'll be scorched in the heat. You have to see the ideals that we think are foreign to us, how they were created by us.
Yeah, so all this new and inventive things that people are doing, nothing new under the sun.
It's ancient. And we did it.
So go get kissed by Ra.
Kissed by Ra, 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 on the wings of Ra.
Yes.
Two lands are Tamari and Ta-Nehisi. Tamari is way in the north. Here we see the Ta-Nehisi is way in the south. Now, here we see this was the land of the bow. Why was Cush called the land of the bow? Because they could shoot right into the eye of the enemy. They were excellent archers. Now also, notice their left leg forward, all of them. All the soldiers, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That becomes the military stand of this very day. Now, let me say again, if we go to Asia, and let's go to China, Are the people Asians? Yes. Okay, let's go way down to Bangkok. Bangkok, are the people who are darker hue of Asians, are they still Asians? Yes. Okay. Let's go to Europe. Let's go to the Sicilians. Sicilians have sometimes very curly hair. They have a very dark hue of white complexion. Darker than the Swedes. But are they still what? Europeans. Let's go to the Italians. They have generally black hair, black eyes, but they're darker hue of white than those who live way up north. But they're still what? Europeans. Now, when it comes down to Africa, look how we are divided. Here we have the African nations of Tamari and Ta-Nehisi. But the racist European Egyptologists will tell you that one is not African and the others are African, and now they're saying Kush is not African, the Kush are Caucasians. I'll show it in the upcoming lectures on Kush. Here we are, the mothers and fathers of the planet Earth. It's validated through all anthropological evidence that without African people on the planet, you wouldn't have humanity on the planet Earth. That's why we look like so many different types of features, because we've given birth to humanity. You can go among black folks and see some that may look like they're Asians, but they're not Asians, they're African.
They were ruling over us, but we did not acknowledge them. They did not belong here. We did not see Alexander or none of the Greeks as a Sa-Ra, a son of God. Even though Alexander went all the way to the border of Egypt and Libya to the temple of Siwa and wanted to be acknowledged as the son of Amen, that we still say at the end of our prayers, Amen. That invisible spirit is in all of us, the invisible spirit that permeates throughout all the universe. But our ancestors left blank Shanu's. They did not see him as a Sa-Ra. Down there where you are standing, look behind you. Look at those Shanu's. One of the few Shanu's that has names in it is Cleopatra, because she could read the Medu Neter. She studied the Medu Neter. Now her father being of Ptolemy, the 12th, that was her father, her background, so her line was of the Ptolemy, that murderous line. They were murdering everybody. She murdered one of her own brothers. Everybody wanted to be on the throne of Kemet. But it was her, after being dethroned by Augustus Caesar, then that was the end of Egypt. Had Cleopatra and Mark Antony won that war at Actium when they were fighting Octavian, who changed his name to Augustus after he defeated Egypt in the month of August, it would have been a different world. It would have been a totally different world that we know now. At the same time, during the Punic Wars, during the time of Hannibal, had Hannibal defeated the Romans at that time, it would have been a different world. The world would have been ruled from Africa. So those are the two events that turned the pendulum of change and world power over to the European world. And what made the European world? The study of the ancient knowledge of Kemet that went back thousands of years. Everything that you got in Western academia in the classroom, all the sciences are in their names, and they put their names, Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, and even all of them said they got the knowledge from Kemet. Newton, you had to know about him and his gravity. He said he got the knowledge from Kemet. So we were taught to deify Europeans. And like a young brother came here and he said his father is a physicist. And his father told him, why are you coming to Egypt? You shouldn't be going to Greece. Because he's been enslaved through Western academia, that everything started there. And his son came here and saw all of this and had to go back and tell his father, who's a physicist. That's why Dr. Ben, I love what he said. He said that he went on through his educational system like all of us are going through that. And he said, I know they're going to give up the truth. That's what it's about. It's about the degrees, how many degrees you got. So he got his BS, and he found out it was bull. He said, I know what it is. You got to keep on going. They'll give it up as you get higher up in the degrees. He got his MS, and he found out it was more. He said, oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. You got to keep on going for the PhD. And he found out it was pound high and deep. So we are filled with European white supremacy, racism, academia, fecal matter, defecation all over us.
We've been